good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. This is Brunch Boxing. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm here with a very, very special guest, one of the best lightweight prospects in the world. You've seen him on PBC, you've seen him on Golden Boy. Now you see him with Zuffa Boxing. The chosen one, Justin, chosen, Viloria. What's going on, Justin?
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming on the show, man. I want to get right into it. You made your Zuffa debut, very successful one. You came away with the unanimous decision victory. You made it look easy. Can you just talk to your fans about your last fight?
It was a banger. It was a war. I had a lot of fun that fight, but I'm glad I got that kind of opponent to show the kind of level I'm at. I feel like a lot of the boxing world is kind of sleeping on me. I feel like they still are, but it's just little by little I get to show them what I'm capable of.
Now, when you say that you got to show your level, you know, is that something that you need to show yourself or just the boxing world?
I think just the boxing world because I know myself what I'm capable of. Um, from what I've done, you know, on camera and off camera. So really just showing the world.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about your background because you come from a fighting family. For those
Sure.
who know the name Valoria, obviously they would associate it with Brian Valoria. That's your uncle, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you just talk about like your family background and how it is you guys got into the fight business?
Um. Well, first, my dad, he was a fighter. His uncles were fighters. His cousins were fighters. Really, it was just watching my pops train, and he had us in wrestling as our first sport at 4 years old. I was watching him train, and he was training me and my brother. So since I was like 6, so it was just something I kind of grew up with. It was pretty much an everyday thing since I was little. So I would say boxing pretty much raised me. And then watching Brian growing up, um, seeing someone at that level, that's my uncle right there. It was cool knowing that we share the same blood
Yeah, really, your uncle was really one of the better fighters of his time.
for sure.
Especially in those weight classes. But you are forging your own career. You started off, at least when you came to my eye, fighting on PBC cards. I've seen you on a few Pro Box cards. What were those experiences like dealing with like PBC and then Pro Box and then moving on?
Um, it was good. I got to stay pretty active at first with PBC, and then for a while after their contract with Showtime ended, I didn't get to be as active as I wanted to be, but still, they gave me such a great experience fighting out in Vegas for most of my fights. I got experience in T-Mobile like 3 times in a year,
Yeah.
which is crazy. On MGM on TV, so it was a super crazy experience. Shout out to them; they treated me very well. And really, before Zuffa, I was just looking for my manager. He was pretty much just putting me where I could stay the most active. So with Pro Box, Golden Boy, all that, they treated me well, and I had a lot of fun on their cards. So,
Now, let me ask you a question. What
sir.
made you decide to sign with Zupa out of all the promoters who will obviously be looking to do business with you?
Um, really, it was just I got to stay active. I got to fight on a huge platform, and the people behind it. I think the people behind it are the most powerful in combat sports right now, and really, they're gonna take me to where I want to be in my career. So,
Um, I had a question from a fan. They wanted to know. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick because I don't want to get the question exactly wrong. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Because, all right, he wanted to know how different does the pro game feel now under Dana White's Zuffa setup compared to before?
I think with Zuffa, you feel a lot more like an actual professional athlete. With any other promotion, you're kind of on your own. If you don't have the money for stuff, you. I was my own nutritionist. I was my own, strength and conditioning. I was my own, you know, all those things that I also not only have to learn myself, but I have to spend money for as a fighter. Zuffa's
Yeah.
doing it for me. They're letting me focus on nothing but just fighting. So like, really, it's kind of a no brainer. Like they're providing everything for you, so you could be at your best self, and then also they're transparent with everything. So I would say that there I feel so much more valued as a fighter.
Yeah, it's like honestly, you were one of their bigger and better signings. Me and my guy, we went through the entire Zupa roster, and you were one of the guys that we identified as someone who they're probably going to try to put their companies back on. Have you gotten that sense since you've been with them that you're really a focal point of the operations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the opponents they're giving me, and the opportunities they want me to fight on, I can see how they want to move me, and I'm super excited for it.
Now, I still call you a prospect because you haven't fought any 10 rounders yet, but I do believe that Zupa, just because of the history of Dana White, they're going to try to move you fairly quickly. What's your timetable for trying to fight 10 rounders and then championship fights?
We're looking to get into 10 rounders very, very soon. I would say within just a couple fights. I mean, I've been fighting 8 rounders since my sixth fight, so it's just
Yeah,
um, I'm kind of ready to take that step forward. I felt super good fighting 8 rounds, but I feel like now I'm at the point where once I hit 10, I'm only gonna let I'm only gonna be able to do so much more. So I'm ready to make that step.
now, your last opponent, obviously, you was a banger. You did very well. You got the decision. Was there anything about your last opponent that surprised you that maybe you didn't account for going into the fight, or it was pretty much exactly what you expected it to be?
I expected him to fight. He had a lot of experience. He had a lot of amateur experience as well. But one thing that threw me off was I think Andre Ward said the same thing. He was a lot faster than I thought. He was a lot busier too. But um, other than that, it was nothing. It was nothing that threw me off at all. But it was more of I was surprised watching it back. Nothing I felt in there was anything
Nothing
necessarily I didn't
crazy.
expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when can we expect you to be back out there in the ring again?
Very soon. I've been in camp for um I say about a month and a half now. So I'm gonna make an announcement really soon, but I'll be in the ring within
That's kind of
within
a
a
bit of
month.
a change for you. Like you said, you weren't as active when PBC moved over to Amazon from Showtime.
Yeah.
How many times a year are you looking to fight?
Probably around 4 or 5. Whatever it
Wow.
is. Yeah. I mean, I stay in the gym. I stay in the gym.
Man,
I
you
stay in
making up for
shape. I
lost
don't blow
time.
up. Yeah. I mean, I just love being in the ring. So as much as I could be in there a year, I would like to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, you get into the boxing game. Your uncle, legendary fighter, former champion. You have your own goals. What are your goals in this boxing game and in the lightweight division?
Um, Really, right now, I'm just trying to show out, make a name for myself in the division, and then eventually, I want those belts. Right now, my main focus is working towards that Zuffa belt. So, once they establish, who's gonna be fighting for it, I want to be pretty much next in line.
Now, I mean, you don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but have you heard anything about whether or not you'll be allowed to fight for any of the sanctioning body belts? Because I know John Opataya had that bit of a controversy with the IBF, and a lot of fighters, they still want to fight for like the WBC belt, the WBA,
Right.
WBO. Have you heard anything about that?
Um, Nothing that I can really comment on. I mean, you can still fight for the ring. I think that's a good belt as well. But as far as the other sanctioning bodies, I'm not really too bothered with it right now. Um, Especially too, I feel like they're kind of losing their weight. With as far as how many people are champions, how many there are throughout one division. So
Yeah.
Um, right now, it'd be cool, but it's not really on my main goal right now. Right now, I want to be on the top of Zufa.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now you have a lot of smoke at 135 in Zupa. We just saw over the weekend. Mark Magsayo looked very impressive.
Yeah.
Uh, Rayo Valenzuela has made his way over to Zufa. Lightweight seems to be their most stacked division. Where do you feel like you rank amongst the Zufa guys at lightweight?
I'm for sure up there. I think me saying that, not people are gonna agree, but I feel like once I get that opportunity to show at what level I'm at, they're gonna put me up there as well. And really, it's nothing personal with any of those guys. It's just strictly business. It's boxing, so we're all gonna come across each other eventually. So I'm ready for it.
Do you have any specific guys in that division that you're really looking at like, damn, it would be great to get into the ring with this person?
Um, I mean, no one specifically. Pretty much whoever is in the place where I want to be, I want to fight them. So whoever wins that title, that's the person I want.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, you also had like a pretty good amateur career, but you turned pro early. What
Yeah.
made you decide to turn pro so early?
I don't think the Olympic route was my route. Really, for one, I don't think a gold medal holds the same weight as it did then. Um, and it was never my long term goal to be an Olympic gold medalist. Since I was a kid, I want to be a world champion. So really, I kind of just saw it as a stepping stone for me to get to that world championship quicker. But I mean, I kind of had the opportunity to turn pro with a good promotion already. So it was like there's no point in me spending thousands of dollars to go into these qualifiers and stuff like that. Just I mean, for one thing, I, I don't have any international experience at the time when I was 18. So it was like
Okay.
there's no way I'm gonna make the team politically. So it's really to me it was a waste. It was a waste to even spend the money, spend the time to
You know,
wait for the
I hear a
trials.
lot of the fighters talk about that, especially the politics with USA boxing. What is that like for a young fighter coming up when you're obviously just trying to make your way and you kind of feel like things out of your control is what's holding you back?
I mean, I feel like for a lot of people, it can be pretty heartbreaking when, especially to those who really want to go to the Olympics. Luckily for me, I didn't. I didn't really care for it. Um, but I was able to kind of see how the USA selection team process works, and then if you learned about it, it's just kind of like, what's the point? What's the point of going to all these nationals? What's the point of going to these qualifiers and stuff if it's just gonna be you're pretty much just working for a what is it called, an alternate spot, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. It almost felt like they pretty much knew who they were going to select regardless of the results.
For sure. I mean, the people on the team, you haven't seen them fight in a national in how many years? You know what I mean? So it was like there was really no point in wasting my time and money. So especially too, I just wanted to get my feet wet in the program. So it was a win-win for me, I would say. But it was a good experience as an amateur. I had a lot of fun. So
Yeah. Now, as a pro, what's been like the toughest thing for you going from the amateur game to the pro game?
I mean, it was nothing necessarily I viewed as like a man. This is hard. This is hard because it was nothing I didn't expect. I knew um, I'll put double time into what I'm already doing now. I was training every day as an amateur, but I knew when I turned pro, twice a day. So really, it was nothing. It was nothing surprising or nothing I wasn't ready for. It was everything I kind of expected. And I knew coming into the pro game that this is gonna be my life, which it already was. So it was nothing new. So nothing really surprised me, I'd say.
Now, what was the easiest thing in your transition where you was like, oh, I didn't realize this was going to be so easy?
Um, Really, just having a longer time in a fight. You know, as an amateur, my thing was fitting that pro style in 3 rounds, which I was really successful with it. You know, I stopped half the dudes I fought in nationals. So it was like having that extra time. Like right away, I didn't even want to go 4 rounders just because of how quick it was. I kind of want to jump straight to a 6 rounder, and then eventually longer as my as I got more fights. But really, I just it became more of a fight rather than like I'm thinking about making sure the judges know I'm scoring, making sure the judges see
Yeah.
me as, you know what I mean? It became a fight. So then now I'm just all I'm thinking about is how bad am I hurting this guy? How bad, you know what I mean? So it's a lot more fun to me. You know, I like to fight. You know, I don't like that point game at all.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you like are a great boxer, but you also have power. You're not
Right.
scared to mix it up. It's like you have a lot of different tools in your tool bag.
Yes, sir.
To what do you like attribute that to, where you could be very versatile in the ring?
I mean, you know, I like to impose my will as a fighter. You know, I like to do what I love doing. I like to get in there and, you know, and fight. But if needed, then I'm gonna use my skills and I'm a box. I can box all day, and I feel like still to this day the I haven't really put that on display as much, just because I've done so well just fighting. But really, I'm a lot more dimensional than what the boxing world has seen. So, but really, it's just I'm kind of ready for anything and anyone as a skillfully.
We got a question from one of our listeners, Trill. He wants to know, other than your family, who's taught you something that stuck with you in boxing so far?
Um, I mean, my sparring resume since I was 16 was very, you know, very broad as far as fighting the people who were the best in boxing. So really I've got to learn a bit from everyone about, you know, about the game I'm getting into. You know, I sparred Ryan, Devin Haney, I sparred done camps with Ryo, you know, so it was just I've got to see what it's like to be as a pro, you know, business side and the fight side. So it was just so I mean I can't even pinpoint one thing because I've learned so much and now it's just
Yeah.
kind of nature to know. But um I would say all of them really prepared me for what's what to expect as a professional. So I can't say one thing. It's really hard to, but you know, it's a lot.
We got another question from my guy Mike. He wants to know, what are some of your favorite moments in your boxing career so far?
Um I would say probably my fight with Contreras. It was my sixth fight on the Tank undercard. Um g- that fight was kind of like a lot of people in boxing were kind of wondering, why would you take that fight? Why would you take that fight? This guy's he's it's not a fight like a lot of prospects would take. They're not ready for. You know, this guy he's tough. He's been the distance with Shushu, Chop Chop, Brandon Valdez. Like he's been in there with guys and gone the distance. Like what is a kid, a 19-year-old kid with 5 fights doing fighting him? And then I went in there and I showed out. You know, I ended up being one of the only people to stop him. And that was such a huge moment for me because I felt like a lot of people got to see what I had in me, and then just proving people wrong. It was kind of a satisfying win, satisfying knockout too.
I got another question. My guy Ernie Gabion. He wants to know, how weird is that guy Ernie from Everlast?
He's not weird at all, man. That guy's he's the best. He's the best. I love Ernie.
Yeah, he told me to just he wanted to give you a shout out. Uh,
Shout
a
out to
lot of
him, man.
people, I feel like they have, not to put no pressure on you, but a lot of people got a lot riding on you, man. You're supposed to be the future of the 135-pound division. Do you feel any like added pressure to perform, knowing that so much is riding on you?
Um, I don't view it as pressure because this is a standard I set for myself. So it's like it's more. It feels more like people agreeing with me, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like I hold myself to such a high standard already. It doesn't feel, it feels more natural to expect that of me. You know, like if they didn't expect that of me, I'd feel more offended, if anything.
How comfortable are you making 135? Is that the weight class that you want to campaign at for like the next couple years?
Yeah, I'm super comfortable. I mean, like the only reason I moved up was because Zuffa doesn't have a 130. I could still make 130 if I wanted to. So I mean, yeah, I'll be out here for a while.
Now, I was just curious because I know I call you like a rising prospect, but I feel like you have like so much experience even at the tender age of 21. Do you consider yourself a prospect still?
Technically, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm a prospect that's capable of being a contender. So, um, by default, yeah, I'm a prospect. But I guess once I fight for the title, then I'll be a contender. But I'm for sure at that level already.
Now, obviously you're with Zufa. They're gonna keep you busy. You're gonna be out there probably every couple months. Do
Yes,
you
sir.
finally feel like you have the right team behind you to get to where you want to be in a boxing game?
Absolutely. My manager, Ray Fry, he's amazing. And my
Who's
family,
your manager? Sorry about that.
Ray Fry.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm familiar
Yes,
with
sir.
him.
And then with my family, my pops being my coach, my brother stepping up to help with us now. He was a great fighter when he was fighting. Um, really, this is the team I want for all my career.
Yeah.
If I can't get to the top without my pops, I don't want to be at the top because he's the reason I'm here today. So you know he's built me as a fighter, and he's the one I want to be up there with when I
You
have that belt.
you know, it's interesting that you say that because there's like a lot of father son dynamics in boxing. We
Yeah,
saw Ryan Garcia leave his father and then go back to his father. Now he's a world champion. We've seen Teofimo Lopez become a world champion with his father, Devin Haney, Sean Porter. The list goes on and on. What's it like having your father in your corner?
I mean, the chemistry is unreal. You know, what I mean, like there's not a single coach in the world who not only knows me better, but will be able to know me as well as he does. So I mean, he raised me, so like he raised a fighter pretty much. So it's like he built me, is what I'm saying, trying to say. But I mean, I mean, he's been my coach all my life, so I can't really tell you how it would be with any other coach. But I mean, it's a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but really, there's no one else that I would rather have there.
Uh, when it's fight night and even in the gyms, is he coach or is he dad?
I mean, he knows how to separate it really well. I mean, when he needs to be coach, he's coach. When he needs to be dad, he's dad. But I mean, and in the fights, it's funny. I see him more as dad, just because of how when through camp, I see him as coach, just because of that. That's when most of the stresses as a fighter is on me is just during camp because I need to make sure I check these boxes and I'm ready for the fight. But then by the end of camp, once all the boxes are checked, it's like there's nothing more I could do as a fighter that will prepare me more for this fight. So like all the work's already done. So me and my team, we're all in the headspace of like let's go do our thing, let's go have fun. So really, I just get to enjoy the entire fight week, the fight just with father and son, and my brother as well. So it's just honestly when we fight, it's like just family bonding at that point.
Are you guys ever like competitive with each other? Uncle's a fighter, dad, brother.
No,
It's never.
it's never been like that. He's a year older than me, but um, I mean, we push each other very well. But it's like since I've been growing up, I've been watching my brother. He's been an example to me of a perfectionist, pretty much. Everything he did, he was the best at, pretty much. So like, I've never seen it as like I've been jealous of it or anything. It was just like super cool to see. Like I've always been happy for him with everything he's ever accomplished since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So it was like I saw it more as an example rather than someone I'm trying to be.
So
So
basically, if I ask you who is the best Viloria fighter of all time, You're not gonna have an answer for me.
I'm gonna give my respect to Brian, but honestly, I'd humble myself to say my brother, he was a better boxer than I was. You know,
Uh-huh.
I could fight, man. That guy, he was good. He was fast too, man.
Now, what would it mean to you to hold uh the Zuffa belt? Because a lot of people, even me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, who cares? It's the Zuffa belt, they just made it up. But
Hmm.
for fighters, it means something. So what would it mean for you to be able to hoist that Zuffa belt?
The way I saw it was like, people pick their way into fighting. Not, I would say they pick the right opponents to get them in position to fight for a world title.
Uh-huh.
But the way I see it with Zuffa is they're signing killers, and you got to fight killers. You got to fight people just as hungry as you are. You have to fight people more experienced or whatever it is to
Yeah,
get
it's
that
almost like you
belt.
gotta run the gauntlet.
Exactly. So the way I see it is, it holds a lot more weight than people are giving it credit for. I would say when they start giving more or allowing more title fights in Zuffa, I think the people at the top of Zuffa are going to beat most world champions, I would say. So to me, it holds a ton of weight. I fought nothing but killers to get that belt. So, you know, it means a lot.
Now, besides the guys over at Zuffa, 135 is a pretty robust division. You have
Yeah.
guys like Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. I think Lamont Roach is going to be at 135 now. Um, do you have any designs on fighting those guys sometime in your future?
I mean, yeah, whoever, and pretty much, I've always said I fight anybody. They throw them across the table, and immediately I've always said yes to any of my opponents throughout my entire career. The first one they threw was a yes, yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to fight someone, anyone who holds the belts right now, just because, you know, I love to say that I've been in there with the best, or I beat the best. So, yeah, I'd love to fight any of them.
Now, you did mention that you fought on a Javante Davis undercard before.
Hmm.
What was that experience like?
Uh, it was amazing. We originally that fight wasn't even going to be on TV. So,
Hmm.
um, last minute I get to Vegas, and they tell me, hey, it was Roman Villa. His fight fell out. He's like, you're stepping up. You're gonna get in the TV slot. So I was super excited. So every bit of that, fighting in the MGM as someone who's been there as a kid watching Canelo, it was like everything was super surreal to me. Everything happens, and I'm still looking at it through the same eyes from when I was a kid. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Like, it was an amazing experience. I would say it was probably my favorite experience as a fighter.
Um, you mentioned that you watch Canelo coming up. Besides obviously your uncle, your dad, your brother, who are some of the fighters that maybe you looked up to as a fighter coming up?
Um, I would say David Benavidez. He was a huge one. Of course, growing up, my family's Filipino, so we love Manny Pacquiao. Um, Especially watching him when I was little. He's a southpaw too, but I would say my favorite fighter was always Errol Spence. He was a great southpaw, great body puncher, pressure fighter. If describing that, hopefully it sounds familiar coming from me. So, he was a good example just because of how similar I guess we kind of were. So
It's interesting. He's coming back pretty soon, within a
yeah,
couple months to fight Tim Tszyu. It
seen that.
seems like everybody's counting him out. Are you one of those guys that's counting out Errol Spence coming back?
I'm not going to just because of how much I looked up to him. I'm hoping he's in good shape, that he's ready there mentally. So I'm hoping he comes across with the big win when everything's finalizing. So I'll be rooting for him for sure.
You mentioned earlier that you've gotten like a lot of experience in sparring. You mentioned Devin Ryan. Who are some of the best guys that you've sparred?
Um, I probably had most of my experience with Ryo. I had a lot of fun sparring sessions with him, um, going 10 rounds, up to 10 rounds with him. Yeah, it was a super high pace the entire time. Um, something that really pushed me. But skillfully, I've been in there with Raymond Mortaya. Um, I've done Otabek Kolmatov's entire camp when he fought Raymond Ford. Um, I've been in there with Bam Rodriguez. It's growing up from 16. It was like I've been in the ring with nothing but champions. But there's really the list goes on and on that I can name. But it was a great experience being able to be in there with guys at that level from such a
Yeah,
young
I
age.
can imagine.
Yeah,
Especially like the big champions like Bam and
yeah,
Ryo and David and all these guys like that.
yeah.
What was it like working with Bam Rodriguez? Because he's a bit smaller than you are.
Yeah, he was, but I was smaller too. I was like 17, so I was probably walking at like 129, 130. Um, but it was I think it was right before he won his first world title. So like he was still technically a prospect, but I mean, that dude was skilled. I think we just only did like 4 rounds or something, but um, that dude was skilled and he had a pretty heavy hand on him for how small he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great to move around him with him in the ring. His footwork is amazing. Um,
Could you tell that he was gonna become who he became?
um, I didn't expect how big he would be as a smaller weight fighter, but I think I knew for sure he was gonna be a world champion. Every time I go to Roberts and before he won that title, I'd watch him spar just because of how skilled he was. He was fun to watch as well. But to see the kind of recognition he's getting as someone who's fighting at 115 pounds, I think that's amazing. So good for him.
Yeah, I feel like your time is coming very, very soon.
For sure.
Um, what would success look like for you? Like, what's your like? Hey, I know I made it.
Um, when I have multiple numbers of world titles and people can look at my career and say and give respect, to what I've done in boxing. Because so something I fear the most is that I'm not able or I don't get to do what I dreamed of, and people look at me as like he could have been this, he could have been that. So I don't want to leave nothing on the table with my career. Pretty much, I want to be able to accomplish everything I can get and get respect for it.
Well, with you and your dad, Zuffa Boxing, sky is the limit, man. I'm looking
Yes, sir.
forward to your next fight. I hope to have you on, uh, after you can make the official announcement, man. But
Absolutely.
before we get out of here, just tell the people where they could like follow your journey at.
You can follow me on Instagram, Justin period then Viloria. I post on TikTok as well, Justin Viloria, two A's. So that's mostly it.
All right, man. Listen, I really want to thank you for joining me. Taking time out of your busy schedule. I definitely appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to see, what you do in your future.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Justin Valoria, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.